democracy in
Tinubu
Nigeria.
and his people created a militia, Daniel. Who said those
Tinubu
words?
brought in leadership
I'll ask a third
skills
time.
into governance.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words?
Tinubu and his people never created the militias. That's
So why did you say they did on January 22nd, 2023?
I never said that.
The candidate of All Progressives Congress, Bwala Tinubu, and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we are seeing a political party creating a militant arm leading to election.
Does he have a militia that tried?
It is not all about religion. It is not all about social class. When America and Canada and the Israeli started putting eye in Nigeria, tells us that something serious is happening in Nigeria. And Canada has designated APC and PDP because they are the two political parties that brought these issues to Nigeria. The two political parties that brought bandits, Fulani herdsmen into Nigeria. Yes. Because from the look of things, who is funding these bandits? Our government. Who is giving them weapons? Our government. Who is giving them information? Our government. How will you tell me that in a country like Nigeria, bandits will operate freely and bandits are being paid ransom of money for negotiations? The last negotiation that the president Tinubu has with them was he gave them $7 million for them to do what? Is it indirectly empowering them or indirectly equipping the bandits to operate well in Nigeria? To get the rifle ammunition to operate well in Nigeria? Because currently now, the bandit has more military weapons than our soldiers, our Nigerian military personnel. They have more good weapons than them. Because this is being funded by the federal government with a huge sum of money. When Nigeria were invited into Canada, into USA, to meet with Donald Trump, they were being interviewed that who is funding this bandit. They started saying that our president is a good man, our president is a good man, is this. They asked several times, and finally, the young man had to expose that Tinubu is a drug pusher. Tinubu is a drug pusher. Tinubu is a drug. Imagine our president is a drug pusher. How do you think that this country is going to be good? From the founding, he later exposed that Tinubu is the one funding Fulani herdsmen, giving them a huge sum of money, funding bandits also, giving them a huge sum of money in order for him to succeed in elections. And that is how you see that terrorists have not stopped in Nigeria. They have the right to give an ultimatum that you're going to leave this place in another 24 hours, and we're going to burn them. And they are giving them information before the soldiers, like the last one that happened is that before the soldiers could get there, there was a call from the government that they should retire back to allow bandits to operate successfully, smoothly, and live without them doing anything. Our government is a failure. That's why the USA, Donald Trump picked more interest in Nigeria, because he has discovered that Tinubu is the one funding bandits. Tinubu is the one sponsoring the killing of Christians. Tinubu is the one doing all sorts of things. Yes, if our president is doing good, we are going to talk about him. If our president is not doing good, we are still going to talk about it because we want him to do good. If he's doing good, we'll praise him. Yes, we are going to praise him if he's doing good. But how can you bring this thing? How can you partner with bandits, killing innocent souls, killing the Christians, killing some Islamic people, killing people, and now they're not asking Christians to negotiate with them to pay tax? How do you think that this government is a good government? Because insecurity everywhere. In fact, APC and PDP are the worst party we have. They should eliminate this party, this political party. They should eliminate them. Because if they continue to rule us, for those of you that want to support Tinubu in 2027 elections, you see what he's doing already. He has put hungers, put the youth into frustration. He has put us into insecurity. You cannot no longer farm again. You cannot no longer go to farm peacefully. You cannot no longer travel peacefully to a different state. You can no longer do your things, you can no longer do buying and selling peaceful again, and you want to go and vote for him, and you are campaigning for him. You are a disgrace to your generation, and equally you are a disgrace to your children. Because whatever we are suffering today is still going to affect the children tomorrow. So we better wisen up and step out and let us produce a better president to Nigeria. APC and PDP must go because these are the terrorists we have in Nigeria. They are the one funding bandits. The one that is most shameful to me, the one that it disgraced me, I was so ashamed to be a Nigerian, is the one that they were being caught. They were being caught. The Iran were importing weapons into Nigeria to enable them to help them to go and fight the war. And when US called them, look at what you are doing, they denied. But there was evidence on the screen that the Iran were importing weapons into Nigeria. These weapons, who are handling this weapon? The bandits, the Fulani herdsmen, the Boko Haram people are the one in charge of these ammunitions. Can you imagine the Boko Haram have Amoka, have jet fighters, something that our Nigerian military do not have. So we should rise up because this is a disgrace. Please watch this other video and see what is happening. And I want to see your honest reaction, your honest opinion in the comment section. Watch the next video. Thank you.
Created a militia. Tinubu is one of the foremost politicians in Nigerian history.
Tinubu and his
has helped in
people
strengthening
created a
democracy.
militia. Who said those words, Daniel?
Tinubu has helped in strengthening democracy in
Tinubu
Nigeria.
and his people created a militia, Daniel. Who said those
Tinubu
words?
brought in leadership
I'll ask a third
skills
time.
into governance.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words?
Tinubu and his people never created the militias. That's
So why did you say they did on January 22nd, 2023?
I never said that.
The candidate of All Progressives Congress, Bwala Tinubu, and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we are seeing a political party creating a militant arm leading to election.
Does he have a militia that tried to kill you?
He doesn't have. I never said he tried to kill me.
I myself have received threats from him and his camp. Your words.
I never said that.
There is also this threat to life, and I can tell you that because I myself have received threats from Asiwaju and his camp.
You said it was so corrupt, the 2023 election, Tinubu's win. You said that you couldn't eat food for 3 days.
I never said that. Where?
And legitimate complaints were raised all over Nigeria. That part is what threw me off balance. In fact, I became so sick. For the past 3 days, I found it very hard eating food.
Tinubu is not just super rich. It's what he does with his wealth. In 2019, 2 armored money trucks, bullion vans, were seen going into his house, coming out of his house. Where did that money go?
No. Point. Did you see the money? Or those who reported, did they see money inside the bullion van?
Was there no money in the bullion vans?
How am I to know?
You said it was money in the vans at the time.
I never
2023, February.
But there is only one person in Nigeria who is alleged to have moved money through bullion vans, and that person is on their ballot as the presidential candidate.
On the eve of the presidential elections, 2 cash-laden bullion vans, your words, were seen on the premises, which was ostensibly for vote buying. Your words, January 22nd, 2023. Have you just disowned everything you've said in order to work for this president?
I'm coming. What you just said now, I want to put it on record, on my own honor. That's not what I said.
Last question on this. How can Nigerians take Tinubu seriously on eliminating corruption when he appoints someone like Abubakar Bagudu as Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, a man who, according to the US Justice Department, with others, embezzled, misappropriated, defrauded and extorted billions with a B from the government of Nigeria under the dictator Sani Abacha. Bagudu avoided criminal charges. He cut a deal with the Nigerian government, returned some of the money. But the president literally put Nigeria's budget in the hands of a man who's accused of looting billions of dollars.
You started your introduction by saying it's a sovereign country. The decision of the court in the United States does not bind the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
But he gave $163 million. And that man is now in charge of the Nigerian budget. You're okay with that?
I think
Do you think it's funny? I mean,
No,
two-thirds
you
of Nigerians
think it's funny.
No, I don't. I think people who are giving $163 million back shouldn't be in charge of the country's budget.
Thank you for your observation.
Okay, but do you think they should be in charge of the budget?
There's no evidence that that minister has misappropriated funds in the government of Nigeria.
Why did he give back $163 million?
To Nigeria or to the U.S.
To
government?
Nigeria.
Why did the U.S. government give him $100
It's
million?
a settlement. That's what you do in settlements.
Okay.
Why was he settling?
Yeah, so
Okay.
if they
So you're
settled
comfortable
him,
with a
he
guy
settled us.
who's accused by the U.S. Justice Department of embezzling with the Sani Abacha regime billions of dollars being in charge of the budget?
Are
today?
you okay with a president of one of the countries in the world who was convicted by the courts in that land and the person is still
Who are you
governing the
referring to?
country?
Who are you referring
No,
to?
I'm just asking.
But which country?
Okay, are you also okay? Are you also okay?
Because if it's Donald Trump, I'm a
Are you-
well-known
are you-
Trump supporter.
Are you also okay Are you also okay with the prime minister of a country who was accused of making a wrong judgment in an appointment that led to a lot of problem, but he has not resigned, he's still governing? Are you okay with that?
Well, by the time this show airs, he may have resigned. So your argument
Now
that
that
Keir
it has come to
Starmer
light-
and Donald Trump, basically everyone else is corrupt. Okay, let's go to...
You see, this video is not all about politics. This video is not all about religion. I like talking reality out of issues. And I want to start by saying that when Canada designates APC and PDP, the most two powerful political parties in Nigeria, as terrorist organizations, people laugh over it. People do what? Laugh over it. It is nothing. No, it is not nothing. The world is creating a precedent that will justify the destruction of Nigeria. They are creating a step that will justify the destruction of Nigeria. Before America now start bombing Iran, the European Union designates the Iranian Revolutionary Guards Corps as terrorist organizations because they are ready to kill them. I want you to understand how international politics works. If they want to hunt you down, they want to create the avenue. They want to create it so that when it happens, people will say, yeah, it is true. What they are doing is justified. And that is it. Now, after the designation of APC and PDP as terrorist organization, the second thing that happened is a big blow. The resharing, the retweeting of now the Nigerian ambassador to Mexico, Reno Omokre, saying that he has the proof from the court that Tinubu is a drug lord. The world watched, they kept the records, everything is going on. Now, what he accused Tinubu of is the same thing Maduro was accused of, and they captured Maduro. People are watching Tinubu. The world is keeping record. Then the third thing was the issue of the militia, Boko Haram, the killings in Nigeria. You know what? People started raising alarm. Dachomo, we talk. A lot of people talked. Then we were able to start pushing it to international media. They saw it. Then Trump knew right from time what has been going on in Nigeria, even from his first time when he met Buhari. He asked Buhari, why are Christians dying in your country? So it is not new. But what Trump saw on Fox News now triggered everything he knew about Nigeria. And he made his first furious statement that he's going to come Nigeria guns a-blazing to take away the terrorists in Nigeria. And people thought he was joking. He have not carried out what he said. But I pray. I pray for one thing. May God keep everybody alive. That is apart. Now, after that, everybody started putting their eyes in Nigeria. People saw everything that is going on. Then, the only one thing that is remaining in Nigeria is who are funding these people and who created these people. Boom! They set Bwala up. Come to London for interview. He came. And they set him up. Who created the militia that is killing Nigerians? Bwala said, no, Tinubu is good. Tinubu is this thing. This man was asking him, Bwala don't know that he was set up. There is a setup. And at the end, Bwala was able to prove it to the whole world through his previous video that Tinubu, the president of Nigeria, is the one that created the terrorists that are killing Nigerians, that America are trying to fight, that Israel are trying to fight, that almost the whole country partnering with Nigeria say they want to fight it. Tinubu is in a very deep trouble. You see, people will not understand what I'm saying now. People will not understand. You see, Nigeria has been mapped out for destruction. Look at, let us forget about politics and international politics. Let us reason between ourselves. Okay? This is heart-to-heart talk. A lot of people who are campaigning for Tinubu, campaigning for APC, are you aware of all these things? that Tinubu and his coalition imported terrorists to Nigeria, and you are still campaigning for them? Are you aware of this? No. Are you aware? Time is up for Nigeria. Yeah, the time is up. You will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. I am so disappointed at your bloggers, your influencers, the way they hide the truth about Nigeria, your journalists. And most importantly, for the first time I'm saying this, I am disappointed at Rufai Oseni. Rufai Oseni, I saw his confrontation with Israeli ambassador yesterday. Rufai Oseni was trying to defend Iran, like Iran has been importing weapons into your country. Even you will have to come to Nigeria to investigate the weapons imported by Iran into Nigeria. And you are still there defending these people. Like, is this guy complicit, or is this shallow thinking or lack of investigation? You know why I'm saying this? I like to pre-inform people. If you have been following me on this platform, there is nothing that is going on in Nigeria that I have not pre-announced. Everything going on in Nigeria, when that concerns insecurity, that concerns killing, I will always tell people this is about to come. This is about to come. In 2026, an election will start. In this, so this thing will happen. So I have been saying this. I have been telling people this thing, time without number. But a lot of people, for the best reason known to them, fails to understand. So look at, this is not just embarrassment. No, this is not just embarrassment. This is a calculated plan to bring Tinubu, to bring Nigeria down. And they have succeeded. So let's go on to the next one. Let me know what you think about this.
In trying to remove Jonathan, there were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement. I'm not the person that made it.
But that importation is a fact, is it?
That importation is a fact. What has happened in Nigeria is that most of the time when something comes up today, we never sit back and say, how did we get to this point? We got to this point by virtue of the fact of the effort to remove President Jonathan. There had always been this herder-farmer clash, but it never got to this point where whole communities were exterminated so that some people will be roaming freely within their land, which is what happens in Plateau and in Benue State.
I think Benue is the worst hit.
Precisely. Yeah. And you know why? Because most of the banks of the Benue is lush. Because it's watered by the Benue River. And so they want, these people came and they want. And who are these people? And that's a question that we have not dealt with. The bill first said that we have to confine these people to the ranches within their states of origin. And somebody woke up and said, no, every Nigerian has a right to go around. There's no such thing like a state of origin. Why will anybody make that statement? Reason is that in trying to remove Jonathan, there were stateless persons that were from the Sahel region that were imported into Nigeria, and a former chairman of PDP made that statement. I'm not the person that made it.
But that importation is a fact, is it?
That importation is a fact. If you ask any Nigerian Fulani, he will tell you that there's something called the Bororo Fulani. And that Bororo Fulani are these imported ones. They don't own land. Therefore, what they want to do is to settle in Nigeria. They were given free passage, let me just say it, by the Buhari regime. And we were shouting at that time, don't bring people into Nigeria who are not Nigerians. They won't have sympathy. They won't know what has happened. All they want to do is displace you, take over your place, and roam freely within that place.
But there were cattle herders as well.
They were, but the Nigerian cattle herders were not carrying AK-47 rifles and other.
So these guys brought their guns.
So these guys brought their guns with them. First thing they did was to start to rustle the cattle belonging to Nigerians. And so a Nigerian herder who loses his cattle, has nowhere else to go, he becomes part of them. Because he is given, okay, you either join us or you got nothing. And some of them, of course, joined. And so we have this complicated problem. And this complicated problem is what we want to solve by saying, can we confine you to a particular place? If you have, okay, what you want to do is to move your cattle from where there is grass to another place where there is grass, and you can roam around with them. And I also pointed out on the floor of the Senate that Governor Ganduje at a particular time said, my state, Kano, has more than enough land for all the herders in Nigeria to go around with it.
Chicago myself. Nobody told me I went to Chicago myself. I went to the court where Bwala Tinubu had this issue. I went to the Chicago State University. I went there, I saw the documents myself. Bwala Tinubu is a known drug lord. I went there. Another person isn't telling me. You see the picture on the screen. I took that picture. If you move to the right, you're going to see me in that picture. Bwala Tinubu is a known drug lord. He has this man who's meant to be the Minister of Labor and Productivity, or rather say on productivity, who went on TV to try to hoodwink Nigerians, telling them that the charge against Bwala Tinubu was just for tax, that all he paid was tax, that he had nothing to do with drugs. That is a big lie. I have the document here. Nigerians can see it. I hope you can see it on the screen here. I have the document here. It actually says, and if you look at it, it says docket. A docket, and as I'm speaking, your viewers can go on Google and fact check me. A docket is used for a criminal pending. A criminal pending. So you don't use a docket for a civil matter. And then right on the very first paragraph on this docket, it says that this is a forfeiture action under section under 21 USC section 881. USC is the United States Criminal Code. I will say it again. USC is the United States Criminal Code. Now, if you're watching at home, you can go on Google and you can fact check me. The United States Criminal Code is Title 18 USC, United States Criminal Code. And I'm going to read what section 881 of the USC, the Criminal Code, says. Now, this is it. I'm reading it. Nigerians can see it here. This is what I'm reading. It says, the following shall be subject to forfeiture to the United States, and no property rights shall exist in them. All monies, negotiable instruments, securities, or other things of value furnished or intended to be furnished by any person in exchange for a controlled substance or listed chemical in violation of this subchapter. All proceeds traceable to such an exchange, and all monies, negotiable instruments, and securities used or intended to be used to facilitate any violation of this subchapter. The word used there is controlled substances. Now, for Nigerians who may not understand this, a controlled substance are what they call narcotics, hard drugs. In this case, it was white heroin. Bwala Tinubu was involved in a white heroin cartel. We know, and he was the treasurer of that cartel. And then he put some monies into an account. He was working for Mobil. And as he was working for Mobil, his salary was $2,400. Yet he paid in a total of $1.4 million into several accounts. Now, he was asked to explain how he got those monies. He could not explain how he got those monies. So one of those accounts, the monies in there, $460,000, it was forfeited to the United States.